to the sky. Never let adventures pass you by. Be free and follow your crazy dreams. We're living our vision in the RV. Come ride with us and you'll be free.
Doesn't this make you think of our maiden voyage with the motorhome?
It does.
And then we got the Airstream, and we came here too. First time with it as well. But every time we come here, it makes us think of those first two times. First time with our motorhome Class A, and the first time with our Airstream 33 Classic. But one thing this makes me think of every time we go to all these different campgrounds, and for some reason the first thing that pops into my head is looking at each one of them and just remembering the Class A experiences and all the troubles you can have with that, all the worries, and then the travel trailer, same thing. If you're going out there for your first time, you want to start this adventure, it really does make a huge difference on what you choose, and nobody can tell you. You have to decide what's best for you. There's all different types of worries with each one of them, and then the quality of each one has a big thing to do with it too. So if it's a used RV or a new RV, you really need an inspection, even if it's new. We have a friend that's an RV inspector, and he does new RV inspections as well, and countless times he has found issues with these other RVs that are new. In fact, he's got quite a few stories we thought would be really helpful to share. So he agreed today to get on the line with us, and he's going to share those stories with you, and hopefully the stories themselves will help somebody. Well, Michelle is going to kindly make us some lunch. Thank you, dear. And then we're going to give Steve a call. All right, well, we got Steve on the Zoom with us today. And
Hey, everybody.
one of the things that we thought would be good to have you share with us is some of your stories about your inspections that you do and why it's so important to do an inspection. A lot of people, I don't think, realize how important it is. I know we didn't, because one of our first inspections was a bank ordered inspection, and it was really quick. And to me, I was thinking, they didn't check anything. I don't feel comfortable with this at all. And then we had a second one, and this was on our next RV, the Airstream. And the lady just walked through, and that's when I asked her, I thought you were supposed to inspect everything. And she said, no, the banks, all they care about is that it's actually here. And make sure everything matches up, and they want to make sure that they're lending money to what you say it is. And
Yeah.
so then we had a full inspection done. What was it on the
Airstream.
on the Airstream? And then when we sold the Airstream, we told the buyers, don't trust your bank's inspection, because the bank, they said, was going to have an inspection done. And I know it seems strange for a seller to tell their buyer that, but we didn't want them, what if something was going bad that we didn't know about? So they had a full inspection done, and we did a video on that inspection, and he did a good job, and it was a lot more thorough. So we wanted to share some of Steve's stories with you, because you've done quite a few inspections.
I have. I've done any style RV, from fifth wheel, travel trailer, Class B van. I've done Class A's, even the high end ones I've done, and it's a lot of fun doing this job. I met a lot of great people doing it. I got into this because I wanted to help people avoid buying a nightmare, help them avoid having a headache, so that when they bought the RV, they have some kind of peace of mind. They knew what they were getting themselves into. And to your point about having, as you the seller, have an inspection done, it's true, because a lot of people don't know what they don't know, and there could be issues happening in your RV and you don't even know or aware of it. You're trying to sell it. And then the buyer finds out about it, and it looks bad on you. And
Right.
I do an inspection as a pre-purchase, and I also do it for sellers too. It also adds a little value to the RV, because then that way you know what issues it might have, and you can get them corrected before you try to sell it.
I don't think you've ever told us. Have you ever been to an inspection that you didn't find any problems?
I have had one inspection where I found just a couple minor things, but that was it. And I always hope that I get to an inspection and I find nothing wrong.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Um, so, but it just doesn't happen that way, unfortunately.
That says a lot, though. As many inspections that you've done, and you've only had one, and it still had a couple small things, that
Mm.
really tells you how valuable it is to do an inspection.
The RVs are amazing, but they're still built by humans, and they're prone to have mistakes and miss
Mhm.
things, and it's a part of RV life, as we say.
Yeah. You have any stories? Well, I know you do, that you could share with us, that how you've really brought value to somebody, because I understand sometimes people will look on nrvia.org/locate, correct, and then
Yes.
they're looking for somebody that's an inspector in their area, and if there's nobody, then they can reach out further and pay somebody to travel to do it, because apparently it's worth it to do that, because it could save them thousands of dollars. But have you had any?
It is worth it. Yeah. I had somebody reach out to or call the NRVIA, and then we get a mass email to all of us if we want to respond if we're in the area and they just can't find somebody. So typically, I don't mind traveling, and I'll reach out to them and say, "Hey, I'm not in your area, but I can come up and look at it if you can't find somebody. I have a small travel fee, and but I can be there and do that." And I had somebody actually accept that, and I flew up to Michigan to do an inspection on a travel trailer, and the things that I found wrong with it were enough to help cover the cost of the inspection. Um, and she, when I was all said and done, she was very grateful that I came up, and she said that was the best money she ever spent.
That,
Just because of what was found that the deal was missed.
speaking of dealers, now, even if it's a new RV, you should get an inspection, correct?
Even if it's new, especially if it's new.
Yeah, especially if it's new.
Like even more recently, I had a client that reached out to me about doing an inspection on an RV they already own because they bought it and they had it for 3 months and did some traveling with it, and then they found all kinds of issues with it, and they're fighting with the manufacturer about it. So they asked me to come out and do an inspection on it. So they had documented paperwork to go to help get their issues fixed. Unfortunately, the RV is sat in the dealership for 7 months. So while they're still paying for it, it ain't going anywhere, and it can really dampen the RV experience.
Absolutely. And Michelle and I, sometimes we hear of people, we get emails, messages, from our viewers, and whenever we hear people get excited, and then that they're going full time, and then sometimes we hear the type of RV they had, and we can't help to cringe sometimes, because we're just hoping they don't have issues, that ruins their experience, because it can make all the difference in the RV you get. I mean, the Gretsch Strada Ion is built really good, but they're still built by humans, and there's still going to be errors that PDI misses. They get in a hurry sometimes. It doesn't matter who the company is. When it's a company that, and we're not going to say any names, but when it's a company that produces some poor quality, it's just known in the RV community, it really it makes you feel bad when you see somebody that's going full time. They're just trying to buy what they can afford too.
You could have two RVs sitting side by side, built from the same factory line by the same people, and two families could buy these RVs and have totally different experiences.
Mhm.
One could have a great experience, but nothing goes wrong, and they're happy, they love it. The other could have a bad experience because the RV has so many issues that were missed, and it ruins their RV life experience.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter what brand of RV. I've done quite a few brands. I've done high-end brands, and I found issues with them. And the RVs, when they're moving, they're going through an earthquake when they move, so they're going to have
Right.
things come loose and things get missed. Unfortunately, it's just a part of the RV life.
Well, I mean, we've noticed, and especially with this, but these are kind of pricey, just like the Airstream Interstates. That's their competitor. We have a lot less issues, but we've been in our fourth van so far, and we had an inverter issue once, It only happened on one. It seemed to be a fluke, and then threw a belt on the alternator another time. But it just goes to show you. I mean, the better brands do usually have less problems, but like you said, that doesn't mean every one of them is always going to have less problems, because you just never know.
Right.
Sometimes it's
And
the component, because a lot of these RV industries, they use some of the same components, even though the brand's a different brand. They may have the same refrigerator or the same inverter or whatever.
and even on Newmars, I've done quite a few Newmar high-end RVs, and I've found little things, nuisance things that should have been corrected at the dealership, or should have been corrected at the manufacturer, and they
Yeah.
just were overlooked. And these are things that you would miss as a buyer, because when you're in the RV and you're trying to buy it, you fall in love with it, and you have that glaze over everything else because you really want this RV, and you kind of accept what problems it might have
Right.
because you really want it. And the fact is, having an inspection done by somebody that's on your side and looking at it from different point of view than the dealers are looking at it can really benefit you.
Going back to the new RVs, one of the biggest reasons why you should have one when it's new is not only because they have problems too, but the dealer, they just want to get the sale done, and they're busy, and they don't want to correct things right then before they make the sale. They want to schedule it for later and do it on their time. So they want to hurry up and get that sale done. So sometimes they're probably not very accepting when you come in and do an inspection, I'm sure. But
Right. Most of them are not. Some of them are pretty welcoming. I've had some good experiences at some. And then others are just not, they look at us as if we're there to kill the deal, and that's not the case. As an inspector, we're there to help them have a happy customer, because the ultimate goal is they want a happy customer.
right.
And yeah, it's very important to have anything inspected before you buy it, because as you said, they want to make the sale. So if I find something wrong with the RV, then it's going to get fixed immediately because they want to make the sale. Whereas if you buy the RV and they push the warranty, which the warranty is great, it's great to have a warranty.
Mm-hmm.
But getting warranty work done is a headache, and it's not fun.
Yeah, it usually takes a lot longer than they promise that they're going to take too. And if it's a red flag to me. It's a red flag if they're going to get angry because you're coming there to do an inspection. And those that are welcoming, it just shows they have confidence in the product that they're selling. So
Right. And there are some dealerships that don't allow us at all, which to me
Really?
is shocking, because it's, if they have confidence in their product, they shouldn't have a problem with us being in there. But, there are dealers that don't allow us. And it's, I've had clients in the past who have wanted to buy an RV from a dealership, and when we went to set it up, they wouldn't allow me to come there. So they canceled the sale and went somewhere else to find their RV somewhere else.
that's one of the biggest reasons why we decided to become ambassadors with Gretsch. We asked them right away, what is it that you expect from us? The first thing they said, I'll never forget it, is just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that meant a lot, and we were like, okay, done deal.
Well, I haven't had the pleasure of inspecting in Gretsch yet,
Yeah.
but I have done a couple other Class B vans, and I've done some brand new ones, and I find simple things like just were overlooked. We do a gas pressure drop leak test, and I found a bad regulator on one, a brand new one.
Really.
So it's simple things that you might not catch, and those are things you want to get a hold of before you take it home with you.
Absolutely. So a van like this probably take you an hour to do?
No, if that were the case, my job would be awesome. But no, a van like that you guys have can take between 5-6 hours to do. Just because of all there is to look at, the components inside, the outside. A travel trailer could be 4 to 5 hours. A fifth wheel toy hauler could be up to 8 hours.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at a Class A high-end motorhome, they take up to 12 hours sometimes. So
Wow.
it really makes a difference between what a dealer does as a PDI versus what we do as a certified inspector.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're definitely more thorough and detailed on the inspection.
Well, we know you, Steve, and we've known you for about 4 years now, and we know you're very detailed. And Steve is very meticulous, and he's always been so detailed with everything, which we like because Michelle and I are kind of that way too. But we know some other inspectors, but that's one of the reasons why we wanted to share some of his stories and kind of introduce you to Steve, because you as our viewers, we know he will do a good job for you, and we know that you'll appreciate that from us for referring him to you. And like you're in Florida right now, correct?
Right. I'm currently in Florida. Yes.
And you'll be there for.
So we'll be here probably till May. We full-time travel as well, so we're still on the move.
Yeah.
But I am, like I said earlier, I'm willing to travel to help somebody out with an inspection.
But if you're in the Florida area and you don't want to send him somewhere else, and the RV's in Florida, he'll be there for a while yet. But they can find you. We'll put your information on here too, so everybody can find it. Name of your company is R Vision, as it shows right there on your shirt. R Vision RV Services, and their website is
www.rvisionrv.com.
So is there any crazy story, any story that really stands out?
Well, my very first inspection was a fifth wheel for a customer, and he was out of state and sent me to look at a dealership, look at an RV for him. I won't say who the dealership is, but they got me set up with the inspection. I was halfway through the inspection, and they came out and told me that I was done because somebody had bought the RV online out from under my client. It was kind of shady, in my opinion. And they said they felt bad, and they found another RV for him that was the same similar situation. So they brought it in. I inspected it. I found things wrong with it, and they came back and said, we can't sell it to him because of what's wrong with it. We apologize. We'll find you another one. So they brought another one in. The same thing happened. Finally, it took 4 RVs to find the right one that was acceptable, not only for the dealership to sell, but for my client to buy as well.
So did they have to pay for all 4 inspections?
No, they paid for 2, and the dealer paid for the other 2 because they felt bad for the product that they were trying to sell to him. My first thought was, is this how they're all going to be? Like, I'm going to do 4 inspections for a customer, This is pretty awesome, But no, that was a one-time only thing that's happened. But I have had clients that done inspection for them, and they did not buy the RV because of what was found.
Wow.
It definitely helps to have it done.
Absolutely. And you are certified?
I am certified through the NRVIA, yes.
Okay.
Very important.
Very important.
Mm-hmm.
It is important, and I'm not sure about all banks, but some banks do require to have a certified RV inspector done on the unit, because I had a client reach out to me, and he found somebody cheaper than me, so he went with them instead. And then I got a call a week later saying that the bank wouldn't accept his inspection because it wasn't certified. So he had to pay me to do it as well. So it cost him double in the long run to have it done the right way. And he came back and said that I found more things wrong with it than the other guy did. So it really makes a difference to have somebody who's certified, because not only are we trained by the NRVIA, we're also constantly doing ongoing training all the time. So we're keeping up with all the new technology and stuff like that.
It can save you a lot of headaches in your new adventures or
Right.
your continued adventures if you're buying a new RV. And there's a lot of components out there that you can test and know if something's going bad, where somebody might test it, it's working and it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a furnace on a travel trailer that it worked fine initially, but then, over the course of the inspection, it started to get worse and worse. And by the end of the inspection, it quit working.
Oh gosh.
Turns out it was a bad furnace. So, it could work, one moment, next moment, it's not working.
Right.
So it's little things that add up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I say, when you look for an inspector, you can go to nrvia.org/locate, and you can find a certified inspector. Please, if you do want to have an inspection done, make sure you're certified. And by all means, interview your inspector. If you have a few in your area that you can pick from, interview them. Get comfortable with them. If you don't have a good vibe with that person, then don't hire them. You want to be able to relate to the inspector and have a good vibe with them, to feel confident in what they're doing.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to tell your story and help others.
Not a problem. Thank you guys for having me on.
Welcome. You know what time it is?
It's time to call it a day.
That's right. And we're ready to go.
Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click that little bell, and hit that thumbs up. See you next week.